song for the broken hearted.
All right. We're going to be talking about one of our favorite bands from when we were
13?
Yeah.
12, maybe?
Yeah.
Early bloomers.
So Bon Jovi's Crush came out in 2000. And, so we were, I think it was the summer of 2000.
Mm-hmm. So we were turning 13.
Yeah. We were very sophisticated. And somehow we, unlike all other 13-year-olds at the time, got interested in an 80s hair band. I don't know how that happened.
It's one of the biggest mysteries of my life, and I'm excited to talk more about it.
Yeah, let's just dive right in. Also, I have to comment that we have John, Paul, George, and Ringo behind us, but we'll actually be talking about John, Richie, David, and Tico.
Yeah, people get them confused all the time.
Yeah.
Tomato, potato.
All the time. So, tell me, Hannah, how did you get into Bon Jovi?
I attribute 110% of me getting into Bon Jovi to you.
To me.
And I think it's impossible. It would have been impossible for me to develop my lifelong love for Bon Jovi if not for you. So thank you.
Hey.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if you remember this, but Bon Jovi was actually my first concert ever.
My first concert, too.
Yeah, and it was because you and your parents bought me a ticket and took me to Chicago, and we got to see Eve 6 open.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Here's to the Night.
Yes.
I heard in a Blender song.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Inside Out, it's called.
That classic.
Yeah.
Little gem. Yeah. So, Bon Jovi was, like, kind of making this comeback. So they'd been around since, like, the early 80s. And they had, like, so much success, obviously, in the mid to late 80s with, like, I don't know, You Give Love a Bad Name, and
Slippery When Wet.
That great
that
album,
whole
New Jersey.
Yeah, yep.
They had some albums out in the 90s, which I really like Keep the Faith, and These Days.
Yep.
But they weren't as big. But then in 2000, they released Crush, which had It's My Life. And that was, I think they brought in, like, a whole new audience with that. Like us.
Like us.
Because I think there were, even though the average age at that concert, let's face it, was, like, 45.
Yeah.
There were still some other young people, or am I just telling myself that to feel less
I think
weird?
they were just there for Eve 6. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
they were a handful.
They saw
There were
Eve
a
6
few.
and then they booked it.
They left.
They're like, we paid
Who are these old guys?
like $80 to see Eve 6.
Who were up-and-comers at the time,
Yeah.
we might add.
And then went right back down. And yeah, so I think I made you like a cassette tape, right?
Yep, you did make me a cassette tape, and also you just had a like fiery and undying love and interest in them.
I did have a passion.
It wasn't just like you didn't just make me the Crush tape and then be like, oh, this is cool, we're friends, we listen to Spice Girls and Pink, and also like here's a Bon Jovi tape. It was like, Hannah, here is the Crush album, here is the These Days album, here is Slippery When Wet. Yeah, here are all the things that you need to know if you're gonna stay in my life, was how I understood it at the time.
It was I laid it down on the line.
Yeah.
Like John does in his songs.
Exactly.
Except he's usually laying his heart on the line.
Yeah. And he's usually saying things like,
I die for you.
True love is suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite quote. I don't think that's a quote, but it very well could be. Maybe our second edition of this could be Bon Jovi lyric. Or
thing that a Tinder date said to me the other day.
Yeah, or that. Or melodramatic fortune cookie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there were a lot of, I mean, this was 2000, so like CDs were coming in, but cassette tapes and like mixes, very much still a thing.
LimeWire, Napster,
Prime
Time, yeah.
I would like set up, I used iMesh.
Oh,
and I would
fancy.
Yeah. I would set up overnight, like, I dial into our dial-up internet kids, you can read about this on the worldwide superhighway. And I'd download something like 3 songs over the course of a night, and I'd wake up the next morning and be like, ooh, like, are they good quality songs? And then you'd listen to it back, and it would just be, like, jumbled, like, underwater hold music.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'd get some gems.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's...
Well, the other thing we do, too, that I think you've written about before is grabbing the songs when they were on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
So if you didn't have, like, say, 4 to 12 hours to spare to do the overnight download,
right?
The ONDL, as I like to call it, I just realized, you could just put the cassette tape in the radio. You can also Google that, and record while it was on the radio. And the bonus was that at the end, you would often also get either, like, an ad for the local, I don't know, like, car wash place or something, or you would get the DJ being like, and that was Bon Jovi's It's My Life.
Hey!
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So that's what it was like 17 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The good old days. So what else non-Bon Jovi were you listening to at the time?
I'm glad you asked, because it's quite a diverse array of which I am unproud. So Bon Jovi with Eve 6 opening was my very first concert ever. Right. My second concert ever was Weezer. It's when the Green Album came out.
I saw that too.
Yeah.
Did we go to the same one in Indy?
No, mine was Chicago. Yeah. Damn. Missed opportunity.
Yeah.
And then my third, fourth, fifth, and sixth concerts were O-Town, who you may remember from making the band.
Yeah.
Ashley Parker Angel. Oh, Dreamboat.
What a stud.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were, like, very big. Like, I think their album, like, actually sold really well.
So weird. I drove really 4.5 hours to see them as a high school student in Peoria, Illinois. And my friend's dad was on crutches, which was awesome because we got, like, wheelchair seating at the front of the balcony.
Disabled.
What else were you listening to?
Let's see, what was I listening to? So I got a little bit more into some of the other hair bands at the time, like Def Leppard, you know, like a 12-year-old girl would. And again, I gotta say, like, my parents weren't, like, pushing me into this. I didn't have some, like, older brother or, like, cousin.
Maybe that's the problem, actually. Maybe it's an only child thing where, like, you didn't have anybody else around to be like, this is weird. Like, why are you listening to Def Leppard?
See, I relied on you to do that.
And I was like,
and you didn't stop me. You were like, okay.
Yeah.
So I just continued on my merry way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was listening, but then I also listened to, like, Pink, and I listened to Celine Dion.
Oh, wow.
Shania Twain was really big. Oh, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
Okay, did you have a fave?
I preferred Backstreet, but I definitely listened to both.
Okay, I liked NSYNC. Lance was my future husband, but...
I loved Lance, too.
Yeah.
That says just...
a lot.
Any, yeah.
Ooh, who's your favorite guy in Bon Jovi? Then and now, if it's changed.
I mean, it's gotta be John.
Yeah.
Like, did you...
David Bryan?
Yeah, the hair?
Yeah, I'm into it.
The corkscrew curls?
Yeah, it's like, how does he do it? If he can do that, he can commit to anything. It's, I think, how I felt
it's a lifestyle.
As an adolescent.
Yeah.
But now John, definitely at this, like, 2017, John all the way.
So well.
He's one of the hottest men that's alive.
It's
at this time.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And he, like, his voice is still, like, really good, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's, like, those people who, like, are attractive and have good personalities.
So annoying.
Like, no, you get one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quit hoarding, John.
Yeah. Give it up. Oh, man. Do you have anything about John in particular? Like, let's talk about the actual concert, though. Because there was a moment, I think it was toward the end of the concert, where some woman threw her bra up on stage.
Yeah.
Which at that point in their career was more of just, like, a comical move, I'm sure, instead of, like, it wasn't the actual bra she was wearing properly.
Presumably, yeah.
Presumably.
Yeah.
And I think it was, like, leopard print.
Yeah.
And do you remember what happened from there?
I can't remember. I remember what I was feeling and thinking at the time.
Which was?
So I'll share that, but I don't remember what he actually did. So I went to Catholic school and was extremely repressed. And I was with my friend and her parents. And my friend went to Montessori school, which is like a different but equal type of repression
we were
of
in a
anything regarding any kind of sexuality. So when a bra was thrown on stage, I just looked at Julie's parents and was like, I hope they didn't just see that, and I hope if they did, they don't know that we saw that, because they might have to talk to us about it later.
Brazier.
Yeah, Yeah.
I think it might have been leopard print too.
Yeah.
Like, scandalous.
I felt very scandalized and very like, oh my gosh, I hope we don't have to like have a talking to about like what we just experienced, you know?
My parents, I don't think they had to say, no, don't throw your bra up on stage when you go to feature concerts.
Because it's influenced the way I live my life today.
Thanks,
no,
Mom.
Just kidding.
Wouldn't have all these problems.
But what happened in the moment? What did he do?
John picked up the bra and put it on his head.
Oh my gosh!
Like on
like
his
like a
face,
dreamboat does.
Like he wore it like a hat, like a funky hat.
That's actually kind of changing the way I think about him. I'm glad I forgot that for so long. It's making me be you weird.
I'm glad I could reminisce. How do you feel about the fact that Richie left the band?
I feel
like
pretty
3 years
upset.
ago.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like not the same.
Like he made it so long. Like what happened that in 2014
I looked this up,
or whatever it was time.
Still having drug and alcohol problems.
Oh.
You lived through the 80s where your hair looks insane.
Yeah.
You're literally dressed
insanely good.
That was what I meant.
Okay, yeah.
And then in 2013, I think it was.
Yeah.
He just like, I think he had like a DUI. It was like a bad situation where his like kids were in the car and it was like,
dang, okay.
And I think he was just like, this is enough.
It's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, and they have some other dude now. His name's like X or something.
What? That's such a 2017 name. Sorry, I don't know what that means.
Fluid. Yeah. No, I think his last name's like Xavier, so they just call him.
Oh, that makes way more sense.
Xander. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds
he's
like
not. He's
something from the future.
Not Richie.
Yeah,
we could just call him not Richie.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's how I'll refer to him.
Yeah, but Tico's still in the drums. We still got David Bryan with his lovely locks.
Yeah,
on the keys. But yeah. So do you remember? We used to have, like, sleepovers sometimes, and this one time I had this special project planned for us, where I think when you arrived, I had, like, probably a couple hundred...
It was very planned.
Pictures, yeah, of Bon Jovi, like, from throughout their career, some, like, group pictures, some, like, individual headshots.
You had some album covers.
Covers, and my dad, I think, had built this, like, end table for me, which I still actually own. It's at my parents' house. In my bedroom there, and we decoupaged as like 13-year-olds these pictures of men in their 40s onto this table,
and it took hours.
Yeah,
it wasn't like a quick craft.
No, it was like. Well, you have to put on layers.
Yeah,
like
a lot of layers of
strategic arrangements.
Yeah. And there's a lot of conversations of like, well, we shouldn't have all the pictures from Slippery like in the same corner. We should spread it out and have like, you know, the one from Keeping the Faith over here, and then the trash bag Slippery over here, and then the New Jersey down here. So yeah, it was pretty.
There's a logic. There's a flow.
Yes, exactly.
You can't just willy-nilly.
Yeah, it would be so wrong.
No.
What would the people think when they saw the end table?
You know, I'm asked that question at least once a month.
They'd be like, this is sloppy and senseless.
Yeah.
But now when people see the end table, what do they think? Purposeful, amazing, inspirational.
They're just in awe. It's usually just silence.
You can interpret that however you want.
Pretty much.